I expect, to be quite honest and frank, that if I'm kind to someone, I expect them to be kind back. And there's been several times in my life when I'm kind to someone and they're not kind back, I get a little owly. Can anybody agree? Excuse me? But I was kind to you. I went out of my way for you. And you're going to give me attitude? By the way, side note, this is a daily occurrence when you have children, right? We give, and we don't get a lot back some days. What a great place to start putting this into practice. But anyway, we give, and sometimes our immediate reaction is to expect that same thing back from that person that I gave to. But as we see, that is not going to do us any good, and when it has to do with the kingdom of God. Because everyone in the world lives like that. Everyone in this world lives like that. He said every sinner does that. You think you're going to get credit for being kind to your husband when he's kind back to you? That's not when you're going to get credit. You think you're going to get credit for giving money to someone when you know the next day they're good for it and they're going to give it right back? You're not getting credit for that. By the way, credit has nothing to do with anything. But how many times do we live our life going, I think if I do this, I might get a point with God. I might get, or at least I'll feel better about myself, right? At least I'll just move up a little bit on that feeling. God's got to notice this when I do this thing. No, even the sinners, even the rest of the world is living like that. We're not doing anything different. What's different is when we do it and we actually walk away and have zero expectation on that person giving back to us. That's what's different. When we give of ourselves and of our time and of our energy and of our love, and we do it in such a way that our heart intent is, here's my gift to you, simply because God has led me to do this for you. And now I'm going to walk away and I'm not even going to expect a thing from you. Now that is different than the way the world operates. Because we all can kind of fall into this, you scratch my back, I'll scratch yours. We'll just call it good one day. I'll do this favor for you, and one day you'll do this favor for me. And that's just kind of how it works, which is great. It's fine. But when we're talking about being Christ-like, it doesn't work that way. Quite honestly, there's so many times that I've given to somebody and never gotten anything back from that person. And it just doesn't always work that way in the kingdom of God. And it's frustrating because we teach our kids to be kind and people will be kind back to you. But when we put our expectation on that person that I'm being kind to, that they have to be the one that fulfills that kindness in my life, that's when we start missing the mark a little bit. Because our heart intent isn't that we're just doing this because God has simply asked me to do it. I'm doing it to get something back. And my heart intent then is a little bit askew. It's a little bit off. And I can think of thousands. Seth and I were talking about this, how many times, especially when we were first married, we helped a few people in our lives, and we had nothing. We had nothing at that time. We had nothing. But we helped, we scraped and got a little bit, and we gave that to a couple people. And I thought that they were going to be so grateful that we did that. I thought that they were really going to understand the sacrifice that Seth and I made to give them this little amount. I thought that they were going to understand the whole weight of it. I really thought that they were going to be grateful. I thought they were going to appreciate it. And you know what? They didn't. And my attitude started to change. I started to get kind of a bad attitude about helping people. Can anybody relate? Kind of got a bad attitude about sowing a seed in somebody's life, and they don't even acknowledge it. They don't even realize what I've done, and they seem so ungrateful about it. Now, that's a judgment, because I don't know. Some of us, we display our emotions in different ways. Some of us communicate in different ways. But the problem wasn't them. The problem was me. The problem was the expectation that I was having on them. I wasn't just obeying what God had asked me to do. I was obeying what God asked me to do with conditions on the other side of it. That, yes, God, I'll do this for you, but then that person, they better pay back, or they better appreciate, or they better reciprocate with kindness and love in return. And you know what? That just doesn't always work. Some people just don't have it in them. Some people just don't even realize it. Some people think that they did. Some people do, and it's still not up to your standard. See, it's not about them. It's about me. So when I say I'm going to have a heart to give, I want to do more, I want to get, my intent better be to just simply give and to turn and walk away and have no expectations of them. How is your heart when you give? Are you expecting that person to be grateful? Are you expecting that person to repay you? Are you expecting that they're going to do you some big favor one day and save you when you're in the midst of trouble? Is that how you're giving? Because that does change a lot of things in the kingdom of sowing and reaping.